Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Thank you for being here. My name is Andrew, coming to you from the beautiful Carolinas. Today's topic is going to be why it eventually all falls apart. Think about that for a minute. Everyone, if you like the content, please like, subscribe, and share. So yes, I'm referring to that relationship that you are in, or you were in, or you're removing yourself from, a narcissistic relationship. This relationship had fallen apart over and over and over again, virtually after the minute you met them, because what happened with you most likely is you were entering the love bomb stage or the euphoric stage, or you were getting all excited about spending time with this person. Maybe it was an office employee or a coworker. Maybe it was a neighbor when you moved to a new community. Maybe it was a romantic interest. Maybe it was your sibling who you haven't seen in a long time. Maybe it was one of your parents who's toxic, but you finally reopened communication with them and you found out, here we go again. No matter who that person was, they've changed your life, they've changed your world, they've changed your perspective, they've changed your mindset, and you're understanding more and more, and you're becoming awakened and aware, educated and empowered. But you also are learning, eventually it all falls apart. You see, when somebody is not authentic or genuine, and when they can't introspect or be accountable, that person has many flaws, and that person knows that what they need to do is use a fuel source, which was you, to catapult them, to give them energy, to steal things from them, not only physically, but mentally, emotionally, and every other way also, spiritually, if I didn't say that. This person knows that they're an empty shell. They know there's a huge void within them. They know that they don't have the ability to love like you have. They know that they don't have empathy. They know that they're envious of you and they're jealous of you, and at times they probably wanted to be you, but one thing for certain is they didn't want you and your beautiful, bright, shining light to shine higher than the sun, the moon, and the stars. You see, they tried to extinguish you, if you will. You can read between the lines there, but every time that person that you were in the relationship with and that person you're considering, every time they triangulated you or ghosted you or gave you the silent treatment, or made you late, or hung up on you, or verbally abused you, or financially abused you, and so many other things. Every time they did that, they were breaking the relationship, and they were testing you, and they were fueling themselves. You must also remember, this is an energetic exchange between two people. One person is the dark, narcissistic individual, the person who doesn't have the beautiful, bright, shining light. They have nothing inside of them but a vast wasteland, a huge void, a bottomless pit. And on the other side, you have the beautiful person like yourself. And I'm not talking only physically, I'm talking empathetically. The ability to love and be kind and committed and keep your word. And you don't think negative thoughts. What you do is you want to build people up, not tear them down. You want to grow, you don't want to destroy. And you want to cultivate, and you don't want to keep people trapped. But you are the polar opposite of the person you're considering. And that's why when somebody is not authentic or genuine, i.e. the narcissist, what they do is they want to capture people, and eventually it all will fall apart. You have two people in a relationship. One is taking and taking and taking. The other person is giving and giving and giving. And the person who is giving or was giving only has so much to give in the tank. They cannot continue to give and give and give and not receive without there being a huge price to pay. That is why this is the relationship you need to heal from. That is why this is a narcissistic relationship that you are figuring out, or maybe it's even worse. But the person who is taking, as I shared with you earlier, they have a bottomless pit, they have a void within them. And no amount of supply, no amount of money, no amount of time, no amount of airplane rides or fancy homes or yachts or beach trips or ski chalets or anything in between will ever fill that void for a sustained period of time. This is why the narcissist is loyal to nobody. This is why they don't care about anybody other than themselves. This is why they continue to abuse those that are closest to them, or those that are subservient to them, or those that are reliant upon them, but definitely those who are drinking the Kool-Aid from the narcissist, or who are trapped in the narcissistic fog. Now, all these things I'm mentioning, they come to one conclusion for this video. Why eventually it will all fall apart? Because each and every narcissistic relationship has an expiration date. They all are doomed and destined to fail. Maybe the relationship you were a part of lasted a few days. Maybe it was a few months. Maybe it was 6 years. Maybe it was 30 years. Maybe it was 50 years. But eventually, one of a few things will happen with the people that were targeted, such as yourself and myself. One, We stay trapped in that zombie-like, trance-like state, the narcissistic fog, and we don't think things will get better. And we keep on spinning our wheels on that hamster wheel of abuse, and the narcissist keeps on punishing us for being us. And eventually we become so beaten down, so broken, so subservient, without any clue as to what's happening to us, that we stay trapped in that dungeon of horrors for the rest of our lives. And unfortunately, that is a lot of people. Second thing that will happen is the narcissist will discard you, or they will end the relationship because they believe they've taken as much from you as they possibly can, and they also believe you're not going to heal or put yourself back together. Basically, they think that there's no hope for you and you're not going to make it out. That is what happens with a lot of us, most of us, if you want the truth. And then the third way is the person who is strong enough to end it themselves. They remove themselves from the relationship, whether they know it's a narcissistic relationship or not, but they know something's wrong, something's off. And those people, whether they knew it or not, and you may be one of these people, you either created, developed, and executed an exit plan, and you got out, or you're doing it right now. So those are the only three outcomes. One is to stay trapped in the fog. 2, you get discarded, or 3, you remove yourself. That's the only way these relationships end. Now, a side note, pro tip here. Truth be told, every relationship between human beings comes to an end one way or the other, meaning we all die, we all leave the planet. I will one day, and unfortunately you will too. But having said that, what we, the beautiful, bright, shining lights, the empathetic people, the kind, loving, stable people do, is we want to build people up. We want to grow. We want people to be elevated. We want to share in the abundance. We want to be committed in a grateful, healthy, loving, stable relationship with multiple people. I'm not referring to romantic. I'm talking friendships, neighbors, colleagues, business associates, people in hobby groups, and etc. We don't do damage to people. And if we make mistakes and if we trip up, we don't replicate those. We fix them. We atone for our mistakes. We apologize. We learn not to do those again. Okay, that's what a healthy, stable person wants and does. The narcissist doesn't do that. What they want to do is they want to go through life like a ticking time bomb, a walking cyclone, and a doomsday machine, blowing up any relationship they can get their grubby little fingers on. Now, you may be saying you're being a little rough on these people, Andrew. No, I'm not. If you were in a relationship with a toxic person, you know what I'm talking about. How many times did they gaslight you? How many times did they slam a door right in your face? How many times did they walk 30 yards right in front of you? How many times did they leave their wedding ring on the dresser when they claimed that they were going to go with you to an event, but they showed up 20 minutes late knowing you would be there and you would be wearing your wedding ring, but they wanted to appear single? How many times did they tell you that this would happen in a year or 2 years or 5 years? In other words, future faking. How many times did they tell you that they weren't the narcissist and they were blaming you and telling you that you're the toxic person, you need to go get help? How many times did it take for you to finally get that light bulb moment? See, you were in a place that you didn't even know existed, which was trapped in a relationship with a narcissist. The narcissist knew that. They spun a web of lies. They captured you and trapped you in that web of manipulation and placed you in that zombie-like, trance-like state. They placed you most likely in the trauma bond. You didn't even know what that was either. If you didn't know where it was, then how could you figure out what it was until you got the light bulb moment? Now remember, I've shared this in so many videos over the years. If the narcissist walked up to you and gave you a 2-page report and said, here's who I am, here's what I've done to so many people before you, this is what I will do to you, you will lose your belief in humanity, you will lose your identity, you will lose your money, you will lose a lot of your time, you will lose your energy, your health will take a hit, your resources will become defunct, I will blow up your support system, you will gain a lot of weight or lose a lot of weight, you will have so many concerns you won't even know what hit you. But I'll do that to you. So read this 2-page report and tell me if you want to enter the relationship. If you read that report, although you would not have understood most of what was in it, you would have been able to be wise enough to figure out that you wanted nothing to do with that person because there wasn't anything positive in that relationship for you. But that's not what this person did. This person claimed that they were the love of your life. They claimed that you were twin flames. They claimed they were your soulmate. They claimed that the stars aligned and that the horoscope was perfect and that you two were meant to be together. Or they claimed that they were the victim. Or they claimed that nobody loved them. Or they claimed that all their exes never did what they were supposed to do. This is what the narcissist does. They look for people that are vulnerable. They look for people that are naive. And they look for people with high levels of empathy. They want to get as close to those people as they can, sink their dirty fangs into them, and then get them trapped in that narcissistic fog. Remember, the narcissist didn't do that to you or with you, meaning they didn't give you that 2-page report, If they did, you would have run for the hills. You would have said, thank you, but no thank you, I'm out of here. I want nothing to do with you. Lose my phone number immediately. And by the way, I'll be getting a U-Haul and I'll be moving 10 states or 10 different time zones away from you. That's not what they did. They insidiously crept into your life. Before you knew it, it was too late. It's like carbon monoxide. Slowly you're breathing it in. Slowly it's infiltrating your mind, your veins, your aura, your energy and everything. And then the next thing you know, you're trapped. You don't know what to do. You can't move. You're frozen. This is what happens with people. And then again, in that relationship, when you were in it, you were blaming yourself. You were thinking that you should have done more, you could have done more, you would have done more, and that you could save the narcissist and you could help them and you could help elevate them and teach them and they would listen. You need to understand something. At this point in this day and age, you need to focus on yourself because you're the priority. You come first, second, and third. Back then, you didn't know what you know now, and now you're understanding that there are predators out there everywhere. And they're not just in the animal kingdom, meaning in the jungle or the rainforest or in the Himalayan mountains. They have 2 feet and they walk. And they look sometimes very enticing, very appealing. And they use their charm, and they use their intellect, and they use scriptures, and they use words of the past that are not theirs. They will mimic anything they can to get somebody to give them the time of day. That was you, not the person who was manipulating, the person who was being manipulated, because you gave the time of day to a toxic person, as did I. Now that you have the wisdom, you must go no contact. You must block that person, delete them, remove them, and all fly monkeys. You must understand that your energy is priceless, your time is invaluable, and your resources and your mindset and energy are for yourself. They're not for another person to manipulate and control. So again, I'll share this. This is why each and every one of these relationships, they all end. Usually they end with a thud, a crash, and a bang, and the discard comes out of left field. Or if you're one of the people that planned the exit, you have a target. Maybe you have a 1 month target, a 2 month, 10 month, maybe it's 5 years. I can't tell you what it is, but you need to understand 1 minute in a narcissistic relationship is 1 minute too long, specifically once you get the wisdom. And that's why these relationships always eventually fall apart, because the one person who is the taker, i.e. the narcissist, they will take whatever they can get. They will blame you, they will gaslight you, they will throw you under the bus, they will use the smear campaign to isolate you and drive wedges between you and anything that matters to you, and then they will make you apologize for them doing it. That's when you didn't have the wisdom. Now you have the wisdom. You need to run for the hills, get off the radar of them, have a small footprint, and heal properly. This is why all of these relationships they all eventually fall apart, because two people that are not in a loving, two-way, healthy, reciprocal relationship, working for the same goals and trying to help and elevate and lift up each other, when there aren't two people doing that, that relationship is doomed from the onset. It won't make it. It may make it for 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, 40 years, but eventually the mask will crash, and eventually that one person, which was you or myself, will have taken on so much toxicity, and our health and our resources will have taken so much of a hit. We will either, like I shared earlier, remove ourselves, get discarded, or stay trapped in the zombie-like, trance-like state. But one way or the other, these relationships all fall apart. And before I close the video, I'll share this. Micro discards. What is a micro discard? It's not the macro discard, the apex discard that the narcissist probably used on you, which means they ended the relationship however they did. The micro discards are little things at the time you thought, but they turn out to be huge things throughout that relationship. Example, when you were going to pick up the narcissist from work and they would make you late, then they would blame you that the gas tank only had it was only halfway full and you're supposed to fill it up before you pick them up. Something like that. See, they're creating drama. Another one would be the intentional argument before you went to a barbecue. You'd be talking with the person who turned out to be the narcissist, think you're gonna have a great evening, then they would say something from the past and say something that they made up and trying to get a rise out of you or trying to steal energy from you. They just created an intentional argument. Then you drive to the barbecue and you're steaming, your face is beet red because they're giving you the silent treatment if they just yelled at you for 30 minutes in your own house. Now they get out of the car, walk 30 feet in front of you, they're glowing, they're beaming. You're furious because they just dumped all their toxicity into you, although you didn't even know what narcissism was. You took it on because you were trying to explain yourself and defend yourself, but you were helpless, naive, and vulnerable, and you were a pawn in the game of the narcissist. And now people at that barbecue are looking at you saying, what's wrong with you? I guess your partner's right. You do have some problems. That's not reality. Reality is they painted the canvas with abuse, and they used the smear campaign to get everybody to drink the Kool-Aid they were pouring. So you must recognize, once you know who these people are, you need to get as far away from them as you possibly can. And you need to understand each and every one of these relationships has an expiration date. You must always recognize every one of these relationships always falls apart eventually. And there are so many hundreds and thousands of micro discards when you're in that relationship. Right now, you can probably think of about 5 or 10 or maybe even 50 off the top of your head that at the time you thought they were nothing burgers, not a big deal. They are a big deal. That's why these relationships add up to be death by 1,000 paper cuts when you're taking on more than you're built to take on, which means you're taking on the toxicity and the weight of that relationship and the toxicity of the narcissist, thinking you can handle it. You can't handle it. I couldn't handle it. None of us can handle it. Not one of us. That's why you need to apply the wisdom and use the tools that are provided for you with each and every video I create. Get off the radar of these people. If not now, when? So that's the video. I hope you liked it. I loved doing it from the beautiful Carolinas. This is Andrew. Namaste. Have a great afternoon, evening, or morning, no matter where you are on the planet. You are not alone. I love you all. You are not alone. Remember that. These videos are created for you to use to help you support yourself when you didn't know what narcissism was, when you're first learning what narcissism is, or to come back and keep your cup full and top up your brain with wisdom and education. These are educational, informative videos to pay it forward from a person who went through the cycle and almost did not make it out, January 6, 2021, for those of you who know me and know the channel very well. But I made it, and I'm here. And I started my channel 5 months and 2 days after the discard. Yes, very daunting and challenging experience, but I did it. And I'm still here paying it forward each and every day to help out those people who don't even know that they need help, or those people who just figured out what narcissism is and they're yearning or craving for the wisdom. So play this video, play it a few times, pay it forward to somebody who could use it, and understand that you are an amazing human being. You're beautiful. You are the beautiful, bright, shining light. Stay away from toxicity, maintain your boundaries, go no contact, get off the radar of these people. Don't share information, don't overshare information, and realize that you're out. You need to heal, or if you have healed and you're at that pinnacle of indifference, the mountaintop of indifference, you need to stay there because you've been to hell and back. And now that you're out and healed, you are in what I call rarefied air. I love you all. God bless you, and I'll talk to you tomorrow. Bye, everybody. Bye.